Live from Sin City, it's the Sox and Pinstripes Podcast. And now, here's the star of the show, Diet Dr. Griffin!
This is Diet Dr. Griffin back with another episode of the Sox and Pinstripes Podcast. No longer together in person, but we're back in our separate locations doing our normal recording thing. How's it going, Shane?
It's going pretty good, Griffin. I actually have something that will interest you. It is Noir Fest this week in Seattle, and I am super pumped to go watch some films over the next couple days.
Any particular films?
This year's theme is Femme Fatale.
Ooh.
And it's like, I forget how they said it. It was like the femmes that made Fatale or something, something corny like that, like they do for film festivals. On my list is Caged, 99 River Street are at 6 and 8:45 tonight. And then I might just go watch movies all day tomorrow. I haven't really decided, but the lineup tomorrow is The Narrow Margin, Hell's Half Acre, Murder My Sweet, My True Story, Try to See the Killing, maybe see Detour, but definitely The Phantom Lady. I've seen Ace in the Hole several times, but that's what's wrapping it up this year, and they normally do like kind of a cool little special on the last one, so I might show up for that. But
I think the only one I've heard of those is The Killing, which is kind of disappointing, but I watch a lot of old movies too.
Well, but this is what I love about Noir Fest is like I think I may have seen Caged. I've seen The Sleeping City and Cry Danger, but I've watched a lot of noir films, and I used to have a buddy at my old station who grew up, during the time that these films were being made and had like a photographic memory, and he used to recommend me films all the time, and I still haven't seen most of these, which is always fun.
I always like to watch a lot of the old like Humphrey Bogart kind of noir type films.
Yeah,
a lot of those were being made in like the 40s and 50s. In a Lonely Place is a really good one.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Blanking on the name, but there's one where Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall are in San Francisco, and like it's all the first half of the movie is shot in first person because Bogey is like trying to undergo plastic surgery.
Oh, he's like hiding from the mob, right? Or something like that.
He's hiding from somebody. Let me do a quick Google search because we totally discussed this going into the show today.
Oh yeah, I can talk about the 99 River Street, which is what I'm super pumped to see tonight, is basically a Pulp Fiction. Phil Carlson's the director. Evelyn Keyes and Peggy Castle, I guess, are just the most excellent femme fatales. It's amid a gaggle of tough guys is what the description is.
Dark Passage is the movie that I'm thinking of with Bacall and Bogey. He escapes from jail, and then he spends like the first half of the movie just trying to get plastic surgery so he looks like Humphrey Bogart.
Oh, nice. Classic. As you would do. So
yeah.
Well, how have you been, Griffin? What are you looking forward to? What's going on with you?
I've been thinking about this Alex Bregman contract lately. Alex Bregman,
your team too. So.
I know. I've been thinking about it, and Alex Bregman signed a 3-year, $120 million contract with the Red Sox this week.
Wow!
And from what I have heard, the contract is heavily deferred, and it has multiple opt-outs in it. So there's opt-outs after every single year.
For the team or for
the player? The player.
Okay.
And it's supposed to be $20 million per year is deferred.
Okay.
I'm fairly certain that it's probably one of those things where if he only plays the 1 year, then obviously only like 20 million would be deferred.
Yeah.
And then,
I'm still trying to figure out where he fits in on your team, but
well, that's the other very interesting part because Alex Bregman has been a third baseman pretty much his entire career. He did play a little shortstop, but primarily he's been a third baseman, and they're going to slot him at second base, it seems like, which he has played a career 9 games at second base in the majors.
Okay, and he's okay with that? I guess I don't. He doesn't seem like he'd have an attitude, but he was on the Astros, so.
I mean, you had Altuve at second base. I mean, he was the standout guy there at that position
Yeah,
when he came up.
yeah.
Because I mean, Bregman's second year in the bigs was 2017 when Altuve was already like winning his MVP.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I mean, he's still Altuve's still such a good second baseman. It's crazy.
And then the interesting thing is they're talking about moving Altuve into the outfield a little bit this year too.
Weird. Well, in right or
I think in left field they've kind of talked a little bit about playing him in the outfield. I don't know if it's going to be an everyday situation. I think it might just be a little bit here and there.
to preserve him for even longer, probably.
Yeah, I mean he's getting older. But let's circle back here to Bregman because Bregman was the Gold Glove winning third baseman last year.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of times the Gold Gloves will favor, offensive players a little bit, but honestly, this was probably Bregman's worst season offensively. Certainly his lowest on OPS in his career, especially for a full season at 768.
Yeah.
And they're going to probably play him at second base because the Red Sox, for whatever reason, can't move Rafael Devers off of third base.
Rafi.
I don't know why they can't move Rafi off of third base because he's
Dude,
objectively a terrible fielder.
You need a guy like the Ellie De La Cruz, like the Reds have, You need an Ellie De La Cruz to commit a bunch of errors, but be really exciting.
Yeah, and the thing is like Rafi has led the majors in errors for so many times.
Yeah, but I think Ellie De La Cruz has given him a run for his money recently.
Like you look at his baseball reference page, okay? And
Yeah, well, tell me this: who had, since you got Baseball Reference up, who had more errors, Ellie De La Cruz or Rafi Devers last year?
well, I mean, Rafi's got the bold next to him, but they play different positions.
Yeah.
So hold on. I mean,
Well, Ellie has played some third base, so
but Ellie had more errors, but he plays shortstop.
yeah. So
Ellie
I
had 29 errors last year, which apparently led the league. I can't tell if it's the italicized and the bold or just the bold.
who has what is the most errors committed in a season? Because he has to be pretty close to that.
Oh, okay. That's going to be a different baseball reference page. Rafi has to get to my point
Devers,
though. To get to my point, Rafi has had that bold distinction in 7 seasons of his career at the position, third base. He's had 141 errors in 8 years.
Wow.
I mean, he had 12 errors this past year, which is a ton. I mean, I guess it's better than previous, but he also didn't play as many games as he has previous years either. It's just he has just been very bad in the field at third base. It's known, and you're getting the Gold Glove defender, and you're going to play him at second base and completely squander his defensive value.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess it would make more sense to move Devers than it would be to move him.
And the thing is, Devers already got his money. So, like, shut up. He's got no leverage anymore. Move him.
Yeah, but how old is Rafi now?
Rafi's like, I think he's 27, 20. He's 20. His last year was age 27, so he'll be 28 this year.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of analysts talk about this too, and it's like a lot of the reason why. When does his contract up?
Well, that's the thing. He signed that massive extension, so he's there for like another 8 years.
Oh yeah, well in that case, I don't know what he's complaining about. So he should just, because at 35, you're just going to be unless you're one of the greats, which Rafael Devers is great. He's not one of the great. At 35, you're just going to be a utility player basically anyway. So
Yeah, he's going to be the DH in the back half of his career. I just don't understand why they haven't moved him to first already. Like the jury's out on his defensive ability.
yeah,
And
the
if you're
jury is
bringing
long,
in
but yeah,
if you're bringing in the Gold Glover, you need to actually let the Gold Glover play at his position. It'd be like,
yeah.
hey, let's bring in Nolan Arenado but have him play first base. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
not only
kind of
is the
the
jury out on Devers, like he's been arraigned, the sentence has come through, and he's serving his time as well, one of the worst defensive third basemen. So
Yeah. Now, to the credit, the Red Sox haven't officially said that they're going to do it. I'm sure they're probably talking to Rafi and begging and pleading him to get off the position, but I don't know yet. I mean,
yeah,
we're at the very, very beginnings of spring training here. But
that's true.
let's circle back to the other part.
Yeah,
Alex Bregman getting $40 million a year.
yeah, it
I don't
seems
care that you're
high.
deferring 20 of it. It's still ridiculously overpriced. That's like the same amount in average annual value that Aaron Judge is getting.
And you're not even going to play him at the position he's best at, in theory. So
In theory, let's wait until they actually play some games before they decide that. But
yeah,
that's what at least what the initial discussions have stated
yeah,
because they got this weird little log jam. They don't want to take Kristen Casas off at first, and they want Masataka Yoshida DH, even though he's basically a platoon bat at this point.
yeah.
$40 million is a lot, and that can't be the going rate for a third baseman.
No,
No,
especially not of. Maybe who went from San Francisco, or who went from Toronto to San Francisco?
you get Matt Chapman.
Yeah, I'd pay 40 million for Matt Chapman, but I wouldn't pay 40 million
40
for
million
Bregman.
like you have to like have made multiple all-star teams. Like Alex Bregman has not made an all-star team since 2019.
Yeah,
And you're giving him $40 million a year. And again, I don't care that like 20 million of it's deferred until 2035.
yeah,
Like even Matt Chapman in his most recent deal is getting basically 25 a year.
yeah. Which is crazy to think. Yeah, I don't know, maybe he really hates the Yankees and they want to start back up the rivalry, so they think that he's gonna do that. I don't know.
I mean, and Bregman chose this particular contract over others that were more long-term structured. He, for example, got offered 171 over 6 from the Tigers, which is about 28 and a half a year.
Yeah, I still think that would have been a better place for him and for the Tigers, honestly. I know it's hard to hit in Comerica Park, but he wasn't hitting in Minute Maid, so what's going to be the
Certainly not
difference?
to how he used to.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, maybe he just hit doubles instead of flyouts. So
this is just like a microcosm of how like stuff has just gotten so much more expensive. Like,
well, yeah, money doesn't mean anything anymore. So
I mean, okay, last night, all right, I went to a local pancake establishment that we had dinner at recently,
oh yeah,
last in town. I went
uh-huh.
to a different location. I went to the one closer to my house because I just wanted to get some pancakes because I decided this week I'm starting my leaning down diet to
Hmm.
get myself ready for a nice long summer bulk.
Hmm.
Because out here in the desert, one of the big tenets about trying to lose weight is like upping your step count. And you just can't really do that when it's like 90, 80 plus degrees at night in Vegas,
Yeah.
let alone in the daytime when like it's 90 degrees on 90 to 100 degrees. And then you got to add 10 degrees with the thermostat, because they always measure the heat in the shade out here. So when they say it's like
I
110,
love that for you guys.
so when they say it's like 110, it's like 110 in the shade. So
That's awesome.
I go to this pancake establishment and I'm like, I just want to get a takeout order of short stack pancakes, just 3
Hmm.
pancakes.
Yeah, they are pretty good pancakes, too.
They
I
are
love
very
them.
good pancakes, but these very good pancakes cost $12.
For 3 short
for
stack.
3 short stack pancakes. No sides, nothing.
Are you? I could give you my mom's recipe. It makes you like 100 tiny pancakes. So
I mean, pancake size is like, it really is just the batter.
yeah,
And then you just make the pancake, you just add more batter more or less to each. So it's like, it really gotten me to start thinking about maybe do I need to start making more of my food at home?
yeah. I mean, that's what I've started doing. So I've been doing that to survive in Seattle. So
I mean, I normally make all my meals. This is like normally my cheat meal of the week, which is part of the reason why I generally like to have my cheat meal at a different places because I've been eating at my house all week. I kind of just like to treat
yeah,
myself a little bit, but
yeah, that makes sense.
man, if like a short stack of pancakes and it costs me that much, I might have to start thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean that's a good price too. So which is crazy.
I know. So
Otherwise, your other option is fast food, and it's so cheap, it's real. So,
well, I mean, I could just get a Chipotle burrito for like $10 if I wanted to do that, but
oh, dude, those things
again,
are actually, I think, as far as fast food goes, bang for your buck, paying whatever you pay at Chipotle and getting a small baby to eat is a pretty good deal. So,
yeah, I mean, the only thing I would even add, honestly, to a burrito on a cheat day is just cheese. I don't like the sauces and all that other stuff. So,
I don't believe in cheat days. Every day is a cheat day. Tomorrow's not promised. Use your sick leave today.
well, health and wealth kind of coincide together. If you don't have good health, you basically can't use whatever money you save up, and vice
Yeah.
versa. That rant didn't go quite as ranty as I was expecting it to.
You didn't even really rant at all. I was trying to help
No,
get you there, but
no, I'm not feeling the anger and disdain probably because I don't want to make this a supercharged political podcast. Nor and I also think our noir talk kind of took me
yeah,
off my game plan
that's
a
good. I
little bit.
calmed you down too much with the noir talk. I shouldn't have given you something exciting first. So,
Yeah, yeah. Well,
at this
something.
time, it's just negotiating apathy since it's been 8 years of the same thing. So,
Yeah. Well, here's a couple things that can always enrage us. Dodgers signing players.
no,
Yeah.
haven't they done enough already?
Well, I mean, the 2 players that we're talking about this week aren't really going to be that dependable. You got
Okay.
Kike Hernandez
Oh, okay.
announcing that he's back with the Dodgers,
Nice.
and you
But
also
they give him like $1 million just to hang out basically till September, and then he'll hit good for a month and then, disappear again.
something like that. And then you also have Clayton Kershaw is back with the
Okay.
Dodgers and likely to open the season on the 60-day injured list because why
I mean,
not?
he's basically just a pitching coach at this point in time that they
Yeah.
pay a player's salary. So,
Yeah, he's getting $7.5 million, and then he's getting a $1 million bonus for games started. So if he starts 13 games, he gets $1 million, and then like 14, he gets a million.
yeah, okay, gotcha.
And then he has a days active bonus too.
Of course, he has a day's active bonus because they realized they overpaid for him last year, basically.
I think he actually made less last year than he made this year. Okay, yeah. So last year he had a $5 million. Last 2 years actually, or something like $5 million.
Oh, okay.
I think he had a player option this year and declined it. So he had like $5
Oh, so they were
million
like,
last year.
here's a couple extra million for staying with the family, basically.
Yeah, I don't think he's deferring any
we
of
can
that money
afford it.
though.
We're paying half the league right now, so
I don't think he's deferring any of that money though.
no, at his age, absolutely not. So
Oh, okay, so Kike is getting 6.5 million this year.
well, okay, good job, TK. Way to go. I mean, he is kind of one of the major reasons why they, made their push into the playoffs and won. He was hitting home runs at one point in time. I remember like watching the TV and being like, was it that Was Kike? Kike hit a home run? Since when does he do that anymore?
Our boy Cal Quantrill has signed a 1-year deal with the Marlins.
Ooh, cow.
Yeah,
He'll
I
probably.
thought
I
he
mean,
would.
it's a lot less colder, and it's a lot warmer than Colorado. So,
Yeah, I think he'd probably be somebody that could be traded at the deadline because he's just a good innings eater. Somebody's going to want him for pitching depth.
yeah, probably the Mariners. Since we don't like offense, we just double down on. So I'll sign as many pitchers as we can just to make it look like we're doing something. So,
Yeah, moving, shuffling pieces on the board, but not actually like doing something.
exactly. Jerry's got to look busy. He's got to earn that salary of losing somehow. So,
The other interesting deal that happened this week was Nick Pivetta finally signed.
oh, okay.
Yeah, we'd forgotten about him, but he was a guy that the Red Sox gave a qualifying offer to, and I think that really scared a lot of teams off.
Oh, okay.
So this is the interesting dilemma here because would he have been better off signing the 1 year for 21 million or accepting a 4-year deal for $55 million, including multiple opt-outs? And here's the interesting situation of his deal. So he has the opt-outs after years 2 and 3.
Yeah.
This year he gets a $3 million signing bonus and a 1 million salary.
Interesting.
He gets 19 million in 2026, 14 in 27, and 18 in 2028.
Hmm.
Would he have been better off just taking the 1 year, $21 million, hindsight being 2020? Because I think so.
Yeah, probably.
I think so.
Yeah.
And from what I've heard, this seems like a situation where the Padres are probably going to trade him at maybe not this year, but certainly after it this year because of their payroll constraints and no longer having the same ownership in there that was
Yeah.
willing to just go guns a-blazing. I mean, if you're structuring a deal like this, the way that they're structuring the deal like this,
Yeah.
they are desperately just trying to get one more year before like they have to just sell everybody.
It's a fire sale.
Yeah, exactly. It's a fire sale.
Oh, good. I was hoping that you would know what I was talking about. So I didn't know if you were an Arrested Development guy or not. So
Oh yeah, I'm an Arrested Development guy. I have a shirt from that same character who said that. It says,
yeah.
"I'm afraid I just blew myself."
Oh yeah.
I have that shirt.
I prematurely blew myself on what was supposed to be a dry run, and now I have kind of a mess on my hands.
For those who don't know, he was dressing up as a member of the Blue Man Group.
the
Gotta keep it PG around here.
his stand up is really good too. Have you seen with Bob and David, his like variety show or whatever?
I have not seen that.
Okay, that's really really good. It's kind of crazy. It's like He's on Mr. Show too, right?
I believe so. I haven't watched that, but I'm
Yeah,
kind
like
of
Mr.
aware of
Show's
it.
a little more structured, but with Bob and David is both of those two geniuses just being absolutely amazing. I think it only got picked up for one season on Netflix, I want to say. But yeah, one of the underrated geniuses of comedy. A lot of those guys were on that show.
If you want to talk about a deep cut with this actor, he played the Pootie Tang impersonator, like teaching people how to be Pootie Tang in the Pootie Tang movie, which is completely
Wow.
ridiculous when you when you just look at that movie and then you see like the
I
role.
can't even believe I've seen that movie, honestly. I remember watching that movie and just being like, why am I doing this right now?
It's a very underrated, ahead of its time movie that just
Yeah.
people do not understand, but
Uh,
it was way ahead of its time. I'll
yeah.
just say that.
But speaking of the fire sale, I love it when his wife walks in. She goes, "So and so, they're having a fire sale." He just kind of like puts his head down and walks off.
Doing the old Charlie Brown thing.
Yeah. Marcus Stroman apparently rejects the relief role that the Yankees wanted to put him in, but he's showing up to training camp now. So that's
Yeah,
good.
yeah, that was an interesting little story because he was not going to be showing up to spring training, and then his agent must have gotten in his ear and been like, "Dude, if you're
Bro,
gonna,
this is the Yankees. You can't just like not show up.
yeah, yeah." They could basically just hold on to him for perpetuity and not get him anywhere. I
Yeah,
get the feeling the Yankees are going to have to probably eat this one.
yeah,
And this is one of those interesting situations because like they basically signed Stroman after Blake Snell rejected them last
yeah.
year.
I
Uh,
mean, and Stroman kept him in it for the first half when Garrett Cole was on the IL. He had a bad second half, but
I mean, Stroman was so bad though that like they kept him off the playoff roster.
yeah. He had such a terrible second half that he didn't even make the playoff roster, which I think he was kind of pissed about. I mean, obviously he's pissed about it. So
I mean, he had his worst season last year
yeah,
by a
I had him
mile.
on my team not last year but the year before, and he was great. So
Yeah, I mean, he went from having 10 and 9, he still had the same number of wins and losses, ironically enough, but he only had he had his ERA was like a full run higher and his whip went up to almost 1.5 last year.
yeah, I think that comes from playing in a much harder division than he was playing in. So
I think it could have been the ballpark, honestly, having to go to New York, playing there
yeah,
quite a bit.
I
Because
mean, and you're also playing on average a better quality player all around the board in the AL East.
he was
So
an all-star last year and he just fell off.
yeah,
I mean, even last year, like he had a 3.95 ERA, but his FIP was 3.58, which is kind of a more accurate inducer of what his numbers should have been. So he kind of underperformed last year, and then the past year he actually kind of overperformed.
yeah.
I just wonder. I think the Yankees are going to have to cut bait with him. I don't think there's anything they can really do about it.
Yeah, I saw a thing on the Mariners website that was like, "Oh, Marcus Stroman's unhappy with the Yankees. He could be a Mariner." I'm just like, "Why are you guys picking up starting pitching? Like, what is going on in your minds in which you can see a pitcher and possibly think we need one more?" Like,
I mean, you can
stop
never
it.
have too many pitchers, though.
Stop it. We that's all we've been doing this offseason is signing random guys. Like, stop it. We have enough pitching. We've always had enough pitching. We'll bring up guys from AAA if we have to. That's like basically our whole offense is from AAA. So
There's always more pitchers in the banana stand.
yes, there's always more pitchers in the banana stand.
Now, you were talking about going to the spring training, right?
Oh yeah, I'm still going. Yeah.
When have you locked down when you're going? Because pitchers and catchers are like everybody's reporting now to spring training. So I was just
Yeah, let
wondering if you
me
had your plan set on when you were going to be going down there.
Well, I already have my plane ticket, so let me check my calendar. Yeah, I'm going March 10th to March 14th, so towards the end.
Okay, so you're going to be going like right before we're drafting in our
Yeah,
league because our
yeah.
league is drafting, I believe, 4 weeks from today.
Oh, okay, geez. What? So
I believe
two,
that's when we're doing it
three,
because
four.
you got the Japan series
Oh,
with.
so I'll literally fly back to Seattle on Friday, and then we draft on Sunday. Perfect.
Mhm.
Perfect. I'm glad I didn't decide to fly in on Sunday because that would have been interesting.
Yeah.
I'll just auto draft on the plane and find a way to win. I can do that. So, fun fact for all you moon lovers out there: there's
Mhm.
a total eclipse of the blood moon on the 13th of March. I don't know
Oh,
what
that sounds
time or
spooky.
where. Yeah, it sounds very spooky. I don't know what time or where it's at or where it will be best visible, but yeah, that's happening. So around midnight.
I'll have to remind Jeff about that so we can talk about moons again on our podcast.
Yeah, you guys would love that. So you had a whole entire half of an episode dedicated to it. So I thought you might be interested in that.
Well, anyway, that's kind of all we got. Was that your tidbit of information for the ending of the episode, or?
No, I have a much, much, much better one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and baseball related. Griffin, do you know if anyone has ever hit two grand slams in one inning?
Wasn't that Fernando Tatis Sr. that did that?
Yes. On April 23rd, 1999, Fernando Tatis Sr. became the first and only major league player to hit two grand slams in one inning off the same pitcher.
The same pitcher. They didn't take the pitcher out after
No.
giving up the first one.
Yeah. And at the end of that, so he hits the first grand slam and it's 4-2, right?
Yeah.
By the time he hits the second grand slam, it's 11-2. The same guy is still pitching.
Yeah, it's like you've gone around the whole batting order, which means that other runners have gotten on base and other runners have scored. If the guy is up there hitting a grand slam.
Yeah. So he hits a grand slam, four more runs come across, and then he hits another grand slam.
I'd love to know who the pitcher was that they just had so much confidence in that they just let him stay out there to get murdered.
You would think that he would have had to have been done after the second grand slam. I mean, how many pitches in an inning is that? It's like a lot. It's got to be like close to 50 pitches in one inning.
And that's usually the thing. I mean, maybe in the 90s things were different, but today, like 40 pitches in an inning, like
You're done.
I don't
Just go
care
hit the showers. Bye bye.
I don't care if it's somebody's like second inning or whatever. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I remember like a game where Cole Reagans had that earlier this past year, and it was like the second inning, but he's done because it's just like creates an injury situation.
Yeah, and it also depends on the player too, because there's a lot of times like I remember George Kirby, because he's still young, he gets pulled out quite often too in situations like that.
Yeah.
And like he gave up two walks and two doubles, and they're just like you could just like see the frustration on his face, and they're just like, okay, well, bullpen day, I guess.
All right, well, that does it for the show for this week. I think next week we can probably start talking about like projecting teams for the season and how they're going to do because there's not really many more free agents out there that can kind of move the needle in any direction. Like
Yeah.
anybody that's going to sign to this point is going to be like just slight add-on pieces and not a difference maker. So
Justin Turner, nobody wants you. Come back to the Mariners. We love you. So
Justin Turner, I think he's kind of like done. It's one of those situations where I feel like you're gonna hear him announcing his retirement in the middle of the season, and it's like, it's nice that he's announcing retirement, but it's because nobody wants you.
yeah, maybe he wants to end as a sock again. So he's just like, hey, Boston, give me $1 million to show up, and I'll retire. So
Should just retire as a Dodger.
oh yeah, that actually he should. Yeah, you're right. And the Dodgers are spending money on everybody else. Dodgers, what's your problem?
Yeah, you can't spend like $1 million on a contract, let him play a couple games, and then retire.
No, he'd be better than Kike Hernandez. So.
Yeah, but Kike can play a bunch of positions, so that's his thing.
That's true.
He's like Tommy Edman, except like less than Tommy Edman.
Except he's like Tommy Edman, except less.
I don't think I'm gonna be able to top that line. So see you guys next week.
Bye now.